This video contains commentary. What's crack-a-lackin', my little dudes? Welcome back to Storytime with the one, the only Reddit fairy. My name is Lorna, and today we're getting into some r/ChoosingBeggars. So without further ado, smash that subscribe button, sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. Choosing Beggar wants me to pay for his MacBook Pro. Posted by user ErodeDragon18. I posted this to Am I the Asshole to see if I was the asshole in this. People there said I should post it here. My neighbor called me and asked if I could order a MacBook Pro for work on my Amazon Prime account. I said yes and asked for his credit card info to make the purchase. He said if he could pay when he comes to pick it up. So when it arrived, I asked him to pay. He then asked if I could pay the whole thing. With my employee discount, the Mac was fully upgraded and it cost almost $2,500. I refused to pay. He said that he needed the laptop for work as it was a work-from-home job. Also, his family was financially unstable and I had a high-paying salary. All this was true, so I tried to compromise. I said if he chose a less expensive laptop, I would pay for it. He kept saying that he needed that specific MacBook Pro. I disagreed and returned the laptop. He told me, "Good job, idiot. Now my children are going to starve." The next day, his wife called and yelled that her husband lost her job and they lost their only source of money. Many of my neighbors said I was an asshole. Well, what the fuck? No, definitely not. Like, what? A $2,500? Why would he expect a neighbor to foot a bill that big? Like, especially after saying that he was going to pay for it. Like, you told him you wouldn't have done it otherwise. Like, I hate manipulators like that. Oh, I hate people who are manipulative. It's just, what is wrong with you? You sociopath. Like, what the fuck? Oh, my dudes. How was your weekend? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear about it. I always love hearing your stories. You guys You're always showing up with these stories and you get me going. So let me know in the comments below what you guys did. And before we get into the next story, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications for future videos just like this one. Let's get into the next story. This one is called Old Lady Becomes an Angry Chihuahua When the Free Stuff Isn't Enough. Posted by user Hella Wheatseed. I work at a bagel shop, and we have online surveys people can get on their receipts. And if someone fills it out, they can come in and get 3 free bagels. And keep in mind, this survey takes less than 5 minutes to fill out. If you don't write in the optional sections, it's just basically 5 multiple-choice questions about your experience. This morning, a lady came in and got 2 bagels and an egg sandwich, then showed the receipt with the survey, and the cashier told her, "You can't get egg sandwiches, it's just for 3 free bagels." She proceeded to say, "I don't like that. The survey took me a long time to fill out." The cashier was like, "Okay, still can't get a sandwich." So the lady just got 3 bagels. I sliced the bagels and handed them to her at the counter. She then asked me for cream cheese, so I told her it actually costs more, so I couldn't give it to her. She then asked for butter, which also cost more, but we were busy, so I just grabbed some and told her that it also usually is an extra charge. Then she said, "That's not right. I don't like that. We should get something for filling out the survey." You're holding your free bagels. Whenever we said no to her, she would just go from sweet little lady face to like a scrunched, angry scowl. Like, seriously, butter on a bagel is like 50 cents. Like, come on, Karen, nothing is free, didn't you know? Like, even those ads on Facebook now, they're like, for a limited time, get this for free. And then you end up having to pay like the price of it in shipping, Scam artists. This one, I don't know. These people just irritated me so much when I worked in the coffee shop. It was just, everybody wanted something extra. And you always get those people that come in and be like, when you ask them, "Oh, can I get you anything else today?" And they're like, Not unless they're giving away free donuts. And it's like, yeah, buddy. Like, you're the 5,723,261st person to say that. Like, no. Just stop. All right, my dudes, let's get into the next story. This one is called Family Pays Minimal Rent, Trashes House, but has dig about the dust they cleaned when they first moved in. Posted by user Ms. Abigail84. No TLDR, we're gonna skip right past that one. Info. When I say flat, I mean a granny flat / shack, which is a 45 square meter of space. This is fully equipped, 2-bedroom living space. Amount charged included utilities bills. 18 months ago, my cousin was getting a little too caught up with meth and starting to bash his missus one night. She had to do a runner from the family home with her teenager and a 1-year-old baby. At this point, she also has 2 other children that live with her father from a previous relationship. Not wanting to see the baby on the streets, I offered the flat at the rear of my property, which was vacant. It was a bit dusty from not having been used in a couple of years, but it was perfectly habitable property. They were needing a place that same day, when I was at work, and were happy to clean because it'd only take less than an hour, and I had all the equipment, just not the time. Feeling bad that the missus was in crisis and on benefits, I only charged the 3 of them $50 a week for board for the flat. For where I am, rent would typically be about $150 a week for that flat. Fast forward 3 months and the missus is getting visitation with her 2 other kids on weekends. That puts us at a total of 5 in the space on weekends. Another 3 months pass and Mrs. and cousin have an oops. She plans to do things alone with him still living at my aunt's. 6 months later and the pregnancy takes a horrible turn and she is bedridden. In moves the cousin temporarily to help with the existing baby during the pregnancy. None of them work because of the situation. Admittedly, it was a potentially fatal issue with the pregnancy. The next baby is born and cousin does not leave, still only paying $50 a week, but in a 2-bedroom place we now have 2 babies, a teen, and 2 adults full-time with an additional 2 kids on weekends and a full-size large dog being kept indoors. Over the course of the next few months, cousin returns to work, but just as I am considering asking for an increase in rent money, the missus has a mental breakdown and goes to the Institute for Care, October 2019. Cousin relocates to aunt's house with babies and teen to get assistance during the day. At Christmas, she is released and stays at my aunt's house, and I ask the questions of when she hopes to return to the flat. I am advised just after Christmas. New Year's comes and I ask the question again. Told they will be back when school returns, end of January. I make a post on Facebook asking if any friends had spare accommodation for a friend of mine. Mrs. flies off the handle thinking I don't want them back in the flat, cries to my aunt who calls my own father, who calls me to ask what is going on. This pissed me the fuck off because this was when my family was aware my grandmother was in her final days. So all family-to-family calls had us in anticipation that it would be the call. I explained that there is no issue and it was completely unrelated, but also bite tongue of all anger. A few days later, my grandmother passes. Her funeral is delayed by 1 month because cousin and missus have a trip to New Zealand booked, planned only a few weeks prior, despite knowing grandmother is in palliative care and with minimal time left. Again, bite my tongue of all anger. Early February comes and I've had enough of them paying $50 a week for what is essentially just storage and being able to go on vacations overseas. After having to force my way through a barricade of chairs, I let myself into the flat to find that they had abandoned their bird there, still feeding it as required, but it had made a mess and the room smelled awful. Meanwhile, it had been a hot Australian summer, so I felt there had been animal cruelty involved. I messaged cousin and asked what his intentions, to be advised that they had decided a few days prior that they would move out and would have their belongings gone within a fortnight. I delete them off my Facebook friends list because I was still angry with some of their actions. 2 weeks pass. Nothing's moved. Another week passes and they advise my dad that they need more time. Another week. Then another. They move some items, but re-barricade the entry with booby traps as well as shut all windows and curtains. Spotted this through a kitchen window. Finally, on the weekend, I get the message from them that they're gone, but with a snide remark to the effect of how they cleaned it and it's better than the filth they moved into. I walked in to find the floors covered in filth and food scraps, lino covered with permanent marker from baby/toddler, as well as stains that I'm certain is partially clean fecal matter, the skeleton of a rat that had died in the aircon vent in the kitchen. Aircon had been used regularly, and I knew they were to blame for the rat issue last year. There's black mold in the kitchen, and my poor upright Dyson was emptied 3 times just to remove the surface dirt. The fridge is a write-off entirely. I opened the door, closed it, and it's going to the tip. All food is gone, thankfully. I was stupid for trying to help ensure my cousin's baby was not homeless, because in the end I was royally fucked over by someone who couldn't see what was done to help. Just that I didn't take the day off work to clean dust before his family moved in. Holy shit. Really? Dude, I seen this show, I think it's called Renters, and I think it's in New Zealand, but it basically follows around these people that take care of, rental properties and the eviction processes, and they have to deal with squatters, and I've seen some shit, man. Like, why are people like that? This guy was so nice. Can you imagine paying $50 a week? $100 a month for rent? Jeez, I mean, that's a small place to live in, but it's not meant for a full family, Holy shit, what the fuck? What do you guys think of this story? What would you do if you were the renter in this situation? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get into the next one. This one is called Literal Choosing Beggar Out of the Subway Station, posted by user Martinek101. Storytime. Real encounter I had recently that really bothered me. I thought it fits here. So I use the subway often to get to the center of the city since my suburb is pretty remote. As I was walking to the subway, a guy stopped me before I even reached the stairs to head down. I usually avoid strangers who want to ask for things, but this one got in front of me and immediately said, "I don't want your money." Well, I would normally still leave, but I got curious. The following conversation went on. Choosing Beggar. "My name is Choosing Beggar Charlie, and I'm hungry. I don't have any money to eat. Please go buy me a kebab at the place nearby. It's cheap." Me. Listen, I can get you something from the bakery. I don't have enough time. I'm in a hurry," which was true. Him. "But I want a kebab. At least give me the cash so I can go get it myself. I'll give you the receipt, please." Me. "Are you sure you just don't want something from the bakery?" Him. "I told you, I'll give you the receipt. I want a kebab." Me. "Well, sorry then, I don't have cash on me." Him. "Fine." And I walked away, annoyed as fuck. If you're so fucking hungry, then you don't demand a specific food. Beggars can't be choosing, and I get it's only natural to crave protein, but the bakery has plenty of stuff that contain it. True, but I guess. The literal Choosing Beggar posts are usually completely off topic, but this one hit the spot, says J_Hemphill. Yeah. Choosing Beggar Charlie, just take what's offered to you. Some people want to help, but you're too choosy, and they're in a hurry. I'm an idiot. Okay, let's get into the next story, my dudes. This one is called "I'll pay you for your work, but nowhere near what we agreed on," posted by user The Shadow Spawn. Don't know if this should be here, but I don't think it fits into any of the other communities I follow. Insert obligatory crap about being a long-time lurker, first-time poster. English is technically not my first language, but it is my primary language now. I haven't spoken a word of Hindi since I was a kid. Shouldn't be any glaring spelling errors, but if there are any, feel free to roast. You heard it here, folks. He gave me permission. Last year, during my nursing course at uni, I worked part-time with my dad and brother-in-law building and repairing refrigerated trucks on the weekends. Mobile family-run business, so it's just us 3. And Dad works as a manager of a business that does the same during the weekdays. We provide the service that lets us go at a time or place more convenient for our clients, which these companies don't do. and the less time that the truck is not roadworthy is better for the clients. Dad gets a call from a potential client asking him for a quote on a couple of doors that need to be replaced on the back of his truck. Now, for anyone that doesn't know, the doors are made out of fiberglass and filled with XPS. It's like styrofoam, only much denser. These kind of doors are pricey. I'm not saying a few hundred, a few thousand for a set of doors is closer to the norm. So we get the doors quoted and a few other small things that need repairing. Comes up to about $1,500. We know a guy. Including labor costs, time spent actually working on the damn truck, and fuel. Because Dad likes using his ute to carry all the tools we'll need to actually do everything we need to. We also had to strap those doors onto the ute and drive to his place because he doesn't have a place he can store the truck, and we do need power to fix everything. These doors are massive. Think one of those massive shipping container doors, only not made of metal. Now, $1,500 is actually a very reasonable price for what the guy is asking, because if he went to a company that specializes in this kind of thing, like the one that my dad works at, he'd be paying upwards of about $7,000 to $8,000 just for the doors alone. He wouldn't have his truck for at least a month. When Dad quoted the price to him, he said that that was the best price he could offer, as it was really the lowest he could go before working at a loss. The guy agreed on the price and set up a date, time, and place for us to work. We rock up when he says to and get to work. Doors get replaced. Some of the floors get welded down because when you drive a forklift over metal, it tends to warp a little bit, forcing parts of the floor down and other parts to stick up. Hammer those down and weld them so they don't lift again. Also some superficial damage on the outside of the truck, but that wasn't such a big deal. Fill it with some gap filler, let it dry, and paint over it. Basically, we get the truck back to good condition after a few hours. And then Dad asked the guy about payment. I should note that the guy planned on giving us cash because it was easier for him. We also take a few cash-in-hand jobs for clients that we probably won't be getting multiple jobs from. Also, Indian, so cash is usually what works. I'm actually Australian-born Fiji Indian, so I'm not being racist when I specify that he's Indian. Just trying to say that we get why he pays in cash. The moment Dad asks about being paid, the guy clams up, tells us he doesn't have the amount and asks us to do it cheaper. Now, I did specify that we already heavily discounted the price for this guy. What we're asking for is quite literally our bottom line. We discuss what he thinks is reasonable, and his counteroffer is a measly $450. We go at this for about half an hour before Dad folds and takes the $450 because we understand that he won't change his mind. Old Indian men are notoriously stubborn, as well as cheap as hell. This is OP's saying this, not me. He pisses off with his truck, and Dad ended up tearing a new one into the guy that gave him our number. He's actually a nice guy. We get regular work from him as he manages a fleet of trucks and has a bunch of crappy drivers. Thankfully, this guy actually has a sense of shame and pays us the difference, and promptly cuts the cheap guy out of his life. If you got to here, thanks for reading. Oh my god, what is with all these people, like, ordering work, agreeing on a price, and then coming back with, like, a kick in the face instead of a real negotiation? But he already... No! Stop it! There's no negotiations here. He already told you it's the bottom line. Why do they do this? They try to make you look like the bad person. And it's like... They keep trying. Just like I got people in my comments trying to make me look like the bad person, thinking I'm a sexist jerk. Like, bro, have you even been watching my videos? You say you've been watching for a while, and yet you're more offended at one comment I made about not asking an older woman to deliver a fridge to you? Come on. You haven't been watching as long as you let on, because you would know I'm a good fucking person, and I'm definitely not sexist. I think I've kind of proved that with all of the hobbies that I do. I mean, I fix my own vehicles. Like I said, even in that same video, I'm so stubborn, I would go find a way to get a fridge. But I'm just saying, by decency, don't ask an older lady to get a fridge. Like, what's so wrong with that? Anyway, this is what I noticed with the stories, the choosing beggar stories from India. They agree to something, and then they come back and say, oh, I don't have that much. And then when the OP says, well, I'm sorry, I can't accept that, then they try to dishonor them. And they're like, oh, but you have more money than me. You should give it to me. No. That's not the way it works. You need to bust your ass to make money just like everybody else does. Like, it's not just going to be handed to you. Yeah, no, that's just not how it works. All right, my dudes, let's move into the last story of the day. And this one is called You Have a Car, But You Can't Buy Me Food. Hosted by user Pweop. Hey everyone, this is my first time posting on here, and I don't know all of the rules, but I had my first choosing beggar today. It's not the most exciting, but she was choosy. A little backstory. I work at a retail store, so I don't make the most money, mainly enough to make it and have a little left over. I also drive a 2010 car that's mad dirty and could really use a car wash. Now the main event. I went on a run today with my friend from work on a trail near some restaurants. Once we get done with the run, we decided to grab something to eat afterwards at a Japanese spot near us. And to be honest, I called my girlfriend beforehand to see if she would pay for it, because I legit didn't have the money. But I still wanted to eat with my friend. She didn't agree at first, so I decided that I wasn't going to get anything but a small side of rice. We pulled up to the restaurant, and there was an older black lady with a cane and a limp, wearing shades and not the nicest clothes, but they weren't clothes of someone who had been on the streets for a while. Not just judging based off of that, because I know that the homeless people can be better dressed. As soon as I pulled up, she looked at me, the whole time, until I got out of my car, and then she walked up to me. Here's the cast: Choosing Beggar and me. Choosing Beggar.
Excuse me, sir. I'm not even trying to ask for money. I just want something to eat. Can you get me something to eat?
Me. I'm sorry, I just don't have it right now. It was at this point that I really considered rescinding my statement and bringing her in to get the same thing I was going to get. But she said the next line that went out the window. Choosing Beggar.
But you have a car. That entree that I get, because I usually just get an entree and a drink, don't cost no more than $15.
Me. I just shake my head no. Choosing Beggar.
Everyone goes through their trial, and I'm going through mine.
She starts to sound like she's crying.
And you don't bless me during mine, but I hope that someone blesses you during yours.
At that point, I just turned and walked away, and immediately I felt bad because I couldn't get her something. I was raised by my parents to give when it's in your heart and you have it, but I didn't. So we go into the restaurant, my girlfriend says she'll pay, so me and my friend go ahead and order our food. She came right in after us and someone paid for some of her food. Now, the bowls that I got for me and my girlfriend came to about $16 together. Our bowls would have been more than enough to fill someone up, but she was wanting me to pay $15 just for her alone. She sat down inside and ate, and I'm pretty sure when I saw her plate that she had gotten a shrimp entree and a drink. So instead of getting some cheaper items, she got one of the most expensive and a drink. Also, when I saw her walking around the restaurant, I'm pretty sure that she had in a Bluetooth headphones, and for someone to have those, they have to be connected to a device. And when me and my friend walked out, she glared at me like I was one of the worst people she has ever met. Ultimately, I'm kind of glad that I didn't buy her anything, but if she really is in that type of situation, I sincerely hope that she gets out of it, and if she isn't, then I hope that she gets what she deserves. P.S. There was more than a couple of cheaper restaurants next to ours that she could have tried to ask for food from, but she wanted an expensive entree. You gotta love a choosing beggar with expensive taste. That's pretty much all of them, right? Or they just have to defy you, and whatever you want to give them is just not enough. That's just the way it is with choosing beggars. Alright, my dudes, that's all the stories I've got for you today. If you enjoyed this episode, please smash that like button. It really helps me out. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on all notifications for future videos just like this one so you never miss one. As always, the links to these stories will be in the description below, so head on over to Reddit and show those posters some love with some upvotes. You know they deserve it, my dudes. All my socials are also in the description below, including the Discord server, which is getting pretty awesome. Lots of good, funny ass people in there. That's all I'm gonna say. So if that's your thing, head on over to the Discord. Links all down below. Until tomorrow, you all have an amazing day. Peace out, my dudes.